Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bring you guys an old school album review. And I haven't done an old school album review in a little while. I think not since I did the Cradle of Filth discography, which they also have older albums, but yeah, but that's besides the point. As you can see below the title review, and this album had hit its 20th anniversary yesterday. I should have covered this album review yesterday, but I just didn't have the time to. But yeah, as you can see below the title, we're gonna be looking into, yep, Roots by Sepultura. Now, I don't think this album probably doesn't need any introduction, or this band. I'm pretty sure a lot of people should know. A metal band that formed in Brazil in probably the mid to late 80s. And Roots overall is their sixth full length album, which came out in the year 1996. I was only 2 years old. Now, Sepultura, this band has gone through so many different lineup changes. I mean, the only albums that matter are the albums with obviously the classic lineup, which people should know are Max Cavalera on vocals and guitar, Igor Cavalera, Max's brother, on drums, Andreas Kisser on guitar, and Paulo Jr., whatever his name is, correct me if I'm wrong, on bass. And this album, they've put out like classic albums such as Beneath the Remains, Arise, Chaos AD, and the overall Roots, their sixth album. Now musically with this album, I feel like that, and with every that Sepultura have done, they kind of evolved a lot. They're kind of like go through like death metal to thrash metal, and with this album Roots, I feel like it's more of an has a bit of an innovative album where it still has the classic Sepultura album that a lot of people know, but also has like some very tribal drumming influences. It kind of shows off the Brazilian heritage that this band has on some of the tracks on here, such as like Rata Mahada, the Attitude, and the last track. But yeah, and this is actually like has like a chock full of guest appearances, which is pretty interesting. And I feel like with like I said, and I also kind of like have a little bit of a new metal vibe since this came out in '96 with bands such as like Korn and Deftones. Has some of the tracks have that little bit of a vibe to it, but still kind of remains that traditional Sepultura that everybody loves. But yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, the album opens up with Roots, Bloody Roots, which is a pretty great opener. It kind of starts off a little weird with a little rock falling down and stuff. It's pretty much one of the Sepultura's well-known song, and pretty much a song that Max Cavalera plays with his current band Soulfly and Cavalera Conspiracy, that some of the bands they would do post after leaving Sepultura. But overall, this song. But anyway, Roots Play Roots, great opener. Really love the tribal drums on this album. On the song, it's pretty good. But yeah, then we get to Attitude, which has a very great tribal rhythm. Them in there, and just some syncopated drumming from Igor, and just like the rhythm changes on this song is pretty good. Then we get to Cutthroat, the next song, which is it feels like it's kind of like the more standout track on this album. I mean, lyrically it's kind of very political with what Max is yelling about with sort of like the dominance of the music industry. It's pretty much one of my favorite songs off this album. I like this. Then we get to the next track, which forgive me if I mispronounce it, Ratamahada, if I'm saying that right. It has a very very strong influence on the percussion drumming thing, and has some guest appearances from Carlitos Brown and the vocals, and providing additional percussion, and also providing some more percussion. Shown as David Silveira. Well, now people know him now as the former drummer of Korn. I really like this song. It's a lot. It's just the drumming is pretty insane on this song. And then we get to Breed Apart, which has a little bit of a more chemical metal type vibe to it, like that. And then we get Straight Hate, which has a very weird beginning, but overall this song is just very ferocious. And speak of ferocious, we get to Spit, which is a very fast-paced song. It's the more aggressive song on this album with a little bit of a thrashy vibe to it. I like that. And then we get to my favorite song on this album, Look Away. Now this song is pretty much chopped full of guests. They have still have that tribal drumming, and kind of pretty much this song is pretty much one of the darker song on this album. It has guest appearances from DJ Lethal, the former DJ from old school rap band House of Pain, and Limp Bizkit, and the additional vocals from Jonathan Davis from Korn, and the great Mike Patton from Faith No More. It's a very well balanced song like that. Dusted was a very wild song. I actually like that. We get to Born Stubborn, which is a very aggressive song. And then we get to the two instrumentals on this album, Jasko and It's Sorry, which Jasko, I like that song a lot. It has a very beautiful acoustic guitar solo. And It's Sorry, it's a very traditional track, and it has some music performed by the Xavante tribe. Tribe was, I think, is a tribe from Brazil where Sepultura is from. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's pretty good. And then we get to another one of my favorite songs of this album, Ambushed. And also, I should talk about the next song, Endangered Species, which these two songs they kind of remind me a little bit of the old school Sepultura, prior to Roots. It's pretty good. And then the album closes off with a little bit of a bang called Dictatorship, which is kind of like less than 2 minutes, a very hardcore punk song. And yeah, there's actually also, there's a, before the album ends, there's a unlisted track on here, which is actually a song called Canyon Jam, which is the longest song on here. It's like 13 minutes long. It has like a collection of like sounds and noises. It has like some crickets chirping, and just some percussion. And I think it's a pretty interesting song. I don't know why they didn't list it like on the album. It's not on the track listings here. But yeah, overall, Roots by Sepultura, it's a classic masterpiece. It's basically one of my favorite albums of all time. And this is pretty much a must have for any metal fan, and a must listener for anybody that wants to get into metal or whatnot. Yeah, if I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this a solid 10 out of 10. It's a really good album. So, yep, that's my review of Roots, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Keep it metal.